The 10 traits that attract women, and I'm going to get your results, guys. Now, it's really important to understand that the difference in attracting women than attracting men is completely different, right, men? You might be looking at a woman, and of course, there's different similarities, possibly, but different things that you attract you to a woman. But I'm going to really give you the inside realness, and in my mind, and a lot of other women's mind, of what attracts a woman. Now, it's really important to understand these 10 traits. So let's get into number one. Number one is that you are purpose driven. You have goals, you have ambitions, you have something that is bigger than you in your life that you desire and that you want and that drives you, that motivates you, that wakes you up in the morning and that keeps you active. No woman really wants a couch potato unless she's one herself. But I also do think that the reason why women are so attracted to a man that is purpose driven is because it goes into number two. It shows that he is a leader, guys. Now, a man that can lead in his own life also naturally leads a woman into her femininity because she ends up feeling safe with him as well. And so, what is so important in this leadership mentality is sometimes a lot of people think that I have to tell her what to do in order to lead her. No, the right leadership comes from within you and how you portray yourself to others and for herself. So, for example, look at yourself and your friends. Are you sometimes more of a follower or a leader or right in the middle? Usually want to be right in the middle or a leader, right? So, what's really important is these attributes in leadership give a woman the idea of an amazing relationship with you and also gives her the moment to be able to look up to you, to admire you. There is nothing much more attractive than admiring the man that you're with. Trust me, I know. Now, number three, if you can inherit this, the purpose-driven work, ambition, the goals, and actually being a leader, this now, oh my gosh, you'll be scoring women like crazy. Number three is pacing yourself because there's something so valuable to a man that takes things slowly. And here's why. Because of the fact when you take things slowly, you set yourself apart from the men that want to just go into it right away, just because they see a pretty woman or a hot woman or just a woman that they like. So many men are so accustomed to just get answers, and go, 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 because you probably perform like this at work or in sports or in and really anything in life, right? But it doesn't actually contribute really well in relationships. And a lot of times we don't know this because we're never really taught this. So it's really important that you take things slowly because not only does you stand out, but it also showcases that you're a high value man because high value men do not just date anything. Let me repeat that. High value men do not just date anything. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like that right there. I need to quote that. I need to Twitter that. Anyways, with that said, you've got to treat yourself like a high value man. So you have to know your standards, know your worth, and know your values. Because if you do, then you can take things slowly. Because you will not know a woman in the first 2 days. You will not know a woman in the first week. You will not know a woman in the first 2 weeks. You will not know a woman in 3 weeks. Must I go on? Right? So that's why it's really important to naturally take things slow to actually see where this woman is in her life and if she can contribute to what it is that you want with her, which is significantly important because of the fact that if you do not do this, you will not only be dating blindly, but you will be being misled and you will find yourself chasing women constantly. Number four is you are opinionated in a good way. Sometimes we can become so passive in conversations because we don't have a really good relationship with constructive communication. And we looked at conflict as a bad thing, or we look at difference of opinion as this is going to create conflict. But here's the thing. In those moments is when you can really truly find out who you are more deeper, but also who this person is that you're dating. Because if we don't have our own opinions, what we're showing that other person is that we're just really going along with the flow. It really doesn't get that heightened sense of danger or fantasy, right? So I know a lot of you are like, what danger? Here's the thing. It's not that a woman's going to be like, oh my God, I'm in danger zone. I'm in danger zone. Something's happening. No, what happens is when we become opinionated and you're good guy, you're not doing this to be manipulative. You're not doing this from a point of like, I need to put her down in a narcissist type of mind frame. What you're doing is you're just being opinionated. And now in that mind, and if a woman, she's like, oh, it's not like she's in danger, but her mind is reacting to, oh, wait, there's a difference. But also she feels emotionally safe with you, possibly, and physically safe with you. So in that moment, there's desire that's created because she feels safe, but there's also some friction happening as well. But also what happens in this moment, it showcases that you are strong in your demeanor and who you are. You're not insulting her. You're not doing anything wrong. The only thing you're doing is just sharing your opinion, and you're not doing it from a place of, I need to prove to her or I need to prove her wrong. You just politely just state your opinion. And so many men go wrong with this because they just think it's just easier to agree and move on, which is not always the case. Pick and choose your battles, of course. Number 5, you are decisive. Do you know how many times that I've heard my coaches complain about going on a date in their lives, and myself too, and they could not do it because the man was so indecisive? And so literally a woman, guys, I'm not kidding you, a woman will lose attraction before she goes on a date with you if you are not decisive. If you ask a woman, what do you want to do? No, what do you want to do? Oh my goodness, good luck. Right? So decisiveness is such a big quality that women look for. So you're not going to tell a woman to do. You can definitely give her options, but you're not going to plan a date and say, hey, would you like to get together? Sure. All right, Saturday. Or when would you like to get there? When? And it's just like this back and forth. No. Sometimes, especially in relationships, if you are a guy that's in a relationship, sometimes women just want you to be decisive and actually want you to take the lead because it's easier for us to step in our feminine. And that's what we are accustomed to. This is our natural inherited trait, is to be feminine at times. We also can be masculine, of course, and we should be. There's both yin and yang for both male and female. But the thing about this too is, I always tell men, especially that are in relationships, if you're in a wife is asking you to be more decisive, or your girlfriend, in those moments that you're growing and trying to learn how to do it, always ask, are you sharing this because you need advice, or you're just getting off your chest, or do you need me to help you make a decision, right? And just checking in is really important. Now, when we go back to dating, it's really about really focusing, especially if you not live there, doing your research and being like, hey, I know of this cool lounge, this cool bar, I just yelped it. Would you like to go here? Do you know anything about it? Where she sees that you're putting in the effort to be decisive. So, so important. I remember I went on a date years ago with this guy, and he literally texted me at least 20 times about parking. Where could he park so we could walk to the restaurant? And then he asked me, where is free parking? I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? I was already turned off by the date and I couldn't get out. I literally wanted to cancel, but I couldn't do it because I just wanted to be nice, of course. And he never heard from me again. So with that said, it shows a lot of character when you're not decisive. Next is you're taking pride on the way that you look, and you're very well put together. So a lot of times we don't have to be Mr. GQ. We don't have to be always so stylish, especially if style is not your forte, I should say. But it literally helps, guys. It does. And there's no excuses for it. I really encourage you to at least invest a little bit into your style, especially if this is not something that you're good at, because first impressions mean a lot. Think about it. Either you can be an interviewer or you can be the interviewee. The first thing that you look at when someone walks in is literally the outfit, their hair, if their smile, eye contact, everything, right? So what makes you think that this would be different from someone that you would want to let into your life, right? So it's really important to take pride in the way that we look and also kind of get put together. I love a channel. It is called Teaching Men's Fashion. I think he's great with style. I would really recommend that. Now, another thing too, in regards to taking pride in the way that you look, is just your fingernails. It's not all about clothing. Fingernails, your teeth, Have you washed your face, before you went on a date? I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of men just need to know this as well. And like, did you comb your hair, or did you just look like it's just a hot mess and you did nothing with it? Women want to see a little bit of effort. Oh my goodness. So one of my friends was like, oh my gosh, this guy looks so good. He had a nice chain on. He had a nice V-neck black top. His hair was just so gelled so nicely. And that was one of the reasons why she was so attracted to him in the first place, besides the conversations that they had, is because his first impression was really well. So because his first impression was really well, it heightened his chances of attraction with her. Number 7. Okay, so this one and the next one are probably the most important out of all of them. Number 7 is you are emotionally stable. Wow. Is this so important? There's 2 reasons why women look for a man that's emotionally stable. Number 1, I'll say it to him blue in my face. Every woman wants to feel like she is safe. Guys, understand that something, because you're not a woman. I want you to understand this. We have to think about, I'm always, when I'm walking my dog, looking behind me, especially if I'm downtown in my apartment, like you see behind me, I'm always looking at my surroundings when I'm by myself. Number 2 is I don't go out at night and walk by myself. I'll ask my husband or a friend to do it. Number 3 is the fact that I do not take my safety for granted. Because as a woman, I found myself in predicaments where I was not safe. And 9 out of 10 women that you will meet and know have been through situations like this, or worse possibly, that you were unheard of because they're not going to openly talk about it. But there's so much that goes on for women in feeling safe. And that's why it's so important when it comes to emotional stability. Because when a man is emotionally stable, it shows a balance of safeness emotionally as well. So when a woman feels like she has to cater to your emotions to get you to feel better about yourself, or for you to feel better about life constantly, and then what happens is when you dismiss your needs, you're actually not emotionally stable, because then in the long term, you can have passive aggressive behavior. So stability is something so important. And this is the reason why women look for it. Of course, we want to be physically safe, but emotionally safe is really important as well, because we are literally wired till the day we're born as women to be safe and watch our surroundings. It's completely different for men. It's completely different. Do you know how many times that I've found myself in situations and I've had to literally fight my way out of it, And so it's really important. And I say this very openly and vulnerable with you guys, is because a lot of men don't understand this. And it's not like something you will be understanding unless you find yourself here and listening to me. That's why I do this for you guys, is because, oh my gosh, I can have stories for days, and that's just me. Imagine other women. So let's get into emotional stability. Also means that you know who you are as a person. So you're emotionally strong in who you are, and you don't give someone else your emotions. Next, number 8 is you know when to be vulnerable. All right. So a lot of men lose in not being vulnerable, guys. And the reason why we lose in not being vulnerable, and out of all of my years of coaching, I've coached over 5,000 men internationally from all over the world. And a lot of men think, oh, you can probably just coach needy men and blah, blah, blah. No, I would say 70% of my clients actually are men that get a lot of women, and actually men that are in the limelight, to be honest, but they don't know the balance of emotionally connecting, or when I can be vulnerable, or they're scared to be vulnerable because they've been trained the game way of getting women, and then they're left so unfulfilled. And so what happens here is knowing when to be vulnerable is so important. I'm going to give you these 2 things, guys. Vulnerability is meant to be shared to be informative. Vulnerability is not meant to be shared at your expense or someone else's expense. Example, let's say that you like the woman and you want to tell her you like her. Great. You're not coming from approval-seeking behavior. You're literally just being honest. But your intentions and your actions leading up to this have not been in approval-seeking behavior either. You just literally say, listen, I enjoy spending time with you. I really like you. Total different vibe. But how about if you're in approval-seeking behavior and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna get her to like me, so I'm gonna tell her I like her. So if I tell her I like her, then she's gonna like me. right? And now we're like in approval seeking behavior, number one. And then our energy behind how we say it. So I want you to know that I really like you. And the girl's going to be like, okay, yeah, maybe you'll get a I like you too, but it's completely different, right? So owning that. And vulnerability has to be shared in some ways, because how do people connect? Right? So this is something that I teach with my men, my clients, and my programs and my membership, everything. We literally tackle this and actually reinvent the wheel for high quality men. Next is he has a sense of humor. Oh my goodness, this is so important. I mean, everybody has different senses of humor. I would never encourage you to show your sense of humor by text. Always do it in the face-to-face, unless you guys have been dating for a little bit, because it can come off wrong by text. I've definitely seen that happen a lot. So you can have a sense of humor that's a dry sense of humor, sarcastic sense of humor, but you want to really see if you guys are vibing. I would always say be very careful with sarcastic sense of humor, because that can get you in trouble in the beginning. Let that person really get to know you, but a sense of humor is so important. And how we have a sense of humor is literally by not taking ourselves so seriously. Think about it. When do you showcase humor? With your friends, because you're really not thinking about anything and you're comfortable around them, right? So the only way to get comfortable around women is get out there, first of all, and date women, and also test this on women that are friends and someone that you really are acquaintance with, possibly that is a woman as well. Next and final one is he is spontaneous and he is adventurous. One of the biggest things is that you can actually do things different and you don't get complacent. This gives thrill. This gives fire to your relationship. It increases your sexual desire for one another, and you guys can experience things together. And also with this, especially in the beginning, you do things that are light and fun. And one of the things that really keep a woman around is not only the emotional stability part and the leadership part and you being purpose, but also the spontaneity and the adventure that you guys have. And adventure does not always mean that you have to go rock climbing or skydiving or bungee jumping. No, adventures can be like you're going to a museum because the both of you wanted to do this for so long. It doesn't mean it has to be on a level of high all the time. It can be something low. It's just something that you're getting out of the house and you're planning and you're doing these things in order for you and her to really find yourself matching and also contributing to desire and also contributing to attraction. So if you follow these 10 traits, you'll really get to attract women, because it goes beyond just going after a girl that you really, really like. It's more about embodying the traits that really get women thinking about you and desiring you. So I ask you to challenge yourself. What trait in this video are traits maybe that you have to work on? Maybe you have to also get better at or inherit, and maybe ones that you're perfecting at the moment. Write those down, because I can guarantee you, if you embody these 10 traits, you will get any girl that you desire. And that's what I'm here for, guys. And if you really want to attract women and get really good with women and attract the girl that you want, watch this video right over here, because this video is especially made for you. And also click the link below so you can download my free 7 Common Mistake ebook that men make when attracting women and continue to get great content.